This is the most personal thing that I've ever shared openly to social media or YouTube or anything along those lines. This is a very big part of my life. This is quite a serious part of my life. Today I'm going to share some of it with all of you guys. This is something where in some situations I've been quite ashamed of and embarrassed of and just felt uncomfortable if I was going to say it. Hi, my name is Jonny and I'm an addict. I guess first what we want to be kind of dipping into is what is an addict. In my words, I guess an addict is a person that does something, whether it be a substance or an activity or something that they're engaged with and need it on a frequent basis, and it causes them negative outcomes in their lives. So for example, the alcoholic needs to drink all the time, and the negative outcome would be that he's losing his health, he's losing his money, he's probably losing the people close to him, his personality is changing in a negative way, maybe he's becoming angry, sad, depressed, and all these things have negative outcomes due to him being addicted to alcohol. There's many different types of addictions. There's substance addictions, then there could even be addictions to like sports, there could be addictions to your phone, addictions to food. You can basically be addicted to anything. I guess two things that are quite known in addictions would be alcoholics and drug addicts. What people forget about these two addictions is an alcoholic is actually just a type of drug addict. So an alcoholic is actually a drug addict. You know, a drug addict is anyone who is addicted to a drug or a mood altering substance. So it can be prescription drugs, it can be cannabis, it can be cocaine, it can be alcohol, any drug. You would even argue if caffeine was a drug, because it alters your mood and changes how you feel. So I guess what you're all wondering is, I've just come out and I've said that I'm an addict, and how am I an addict? Well, I actually have multiple different addictions. I think I have a very addictive personality. I get addicted to things, obsessed with things. I get really focused in on things easily. My primary addiction, which I'm still dealing with today, would be food. I don't call it addiction to food because everyone needs food. It's different, but I guess binge eating, overeating, that definitely is an ongoing addiction. Even now, like, I could like seriously overeat sometimes. It can be a very difficult addiction because you need to eat, you can't just stop it. I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and eat just massive amounts of calories on a daily basis to feed my emotions. If I was sad or upset or something or worried, I could stuff my face. But I know that a lot of people do that, and I do believe that most people have a bad relationship with food, but this is more extreme than that. And I will hope to get into that in a different video. But the two addictions that I want to really zone in on today are alcohol and drug addiction. I am addicted to alcohol and drugs. I have consumed a massive amount of alcohol and drugs, multiple types of drugs, throughout my life. I guess I started as a teenager. I never planned on being an alcoholic or a drug addict or a food addict or an overeater. With not dealing with my issues and problems in a healthy way, I had to find other ways to deal with them, which started off with food as a child and then escalated onto alcohol and drugs as things progressed. I guess in my early teens, I went through a lot of pain. I didn't deal with it at all. And I used alcohol and drugs to deal with that and to numb the pain and to make myself think that I was okay when I wasn't. And that went on for years. And It had some very negative effects on my life. I guess I haven't lived a normal teenage life. I lacked a lot of experiences that your normal teenager would have. I pushed my family away. It had very negative health consequences to me. It was just basically one of the main things in my life. And luckily for me, I was able to get help and stop drinking and using drugs. I ended up getting to a really low place when I was 22, and a series of fortunate events happened, and I just felt so low that I decided that I was going to stop drinking and using drugs for 2 or 3 years in my head, because I didn't realize that I had this problem, because I had stopped drinking and using drugs for multiple weeks at a time and thought an alcoholic or a drug addict needs these every day, which I found out was not true. So all the footage that you saw to this point has been on a different day. Someone had actually come into the apartment, so I had to stop recording. So this is a different day, and that's why some of the things around might be a little different. So after being abstinent from alcohol and drugs for 5 months, I still was feeling pretty low. My head was still fairly chaotic, and I just did not feel good in myself. In my head, I still didn't have a drink or a drug problem because I'm after spending 5 months without it and I've been okay. I decided that I needed a lot of counselling, and I thought, how am I going to get enough counselling? I felt like that one counselling session a week wouldn't be enough for me because of the length of time I had just been living in just madness and craziness and never really dealing with my issues. So I called a place called Hope House, which is a treatment centre for alcohol and addiction, and they brought me in for an assessment, and when I was assessed, they said that I was definitely in the right place. I had also heard of a secondary treatment centre called Tabor House, and that was a 4-month treatment centre on top of Hope House, which was a month, and I decided that I was going to do the 2 because I just really wanted to sort my life out. I was getting to the age where I really needed to cop on, start thinking about my life and my future. So I thought this would be the best way to do it because I felt completely lost and I didn't know where I was going. So I done both treatments, which was a combination of 5 months. It was the most difficult thing that I've ever had to do in my life. But as difficult as it was probably the most important thing that I've ever done in my life. And after being sober for such a long period of time and being able to think about stuff, my mindset towards life, my perception of life had changed a lot, and for the better. I just really benefited from those 5 months, and I would encourage anybody who feels that they have a problem, not saying that it would be alcohol or drug, but any sort of issues, to try and get help for those things, because at a young age when I was a teen I thought, oh, I can handle this all by myself. I probably saw it as a sign of weakness. It's not, and now I realise that, and I think the world is changing a lot now and people are accepting you need to deal with your problem. I think men especially are waking up and realising you need to process your emotions and stuff that you've been through in your life. That if you keep them bottled in, that it's just like a disease that is going to slowly make your life more difficult and your head more fried and scattered. I guess a good question to be asking would be, why have I decided to make this video? I've decided to make this video for multiple different reasons. Some people in my life have told me that this might be a bad idea to make this video because I'm admitting to having issues with alcohol, drugs, food, and other stuff in the past. A lot of people might look down on that, but I believe that more good will come from me making this video than negative outcomes. And if someone wants to judge me for making this video, well then that's okay, and that's part of their journey and their life. I want to make this video because, especially young people, I'm 25 now. I'm just gone 25 now. I stopped drinking when I was 22. There's a lot less people out there that give up alcohol and drugs at such a young age. And a lot of people wouldn't realize that they have a problem at such a young age either, because I didn't realize I had a problem, because I thought an alcoholic or a drug addict had to drink or use a drug every day, which I did not. But with being educated on it, it was not the case. I seriously abused both. It did have a lot of negative outcomes for me. So I did need the help, and I just hope that from at least one person to watch this video to maybe sit down and think, is alcohol or drugs causing negative outcomes in your life? Should I try to stop and focus on my life for a while? I'm not saying that you're an alcoholic or a drug addict. Is it worth doing? I have no issues with alcohol or drugs, but I just think a lot of people abuse them. And if somebody feels that they can't stop drinking or taking drugs, and you're feeling depressed or anxious, I hope by watching this video that maybe you could go and try and get help with it, or reach out to somebody and talk to somebody. I guess another reason why I'm making this video is for people to have a bit more understanding about addictions, because I had no idea. It was just my stereotypical thinking. I just thought in my head it was someone who was on the streets drinking or using drugs all the time, and that was it. Another reason for me making this video is I also have a friend who I was discussing this topic with, and he would be involved with people with addictions a lot, and he was saying that he would love to take away the stigma of the way people view addictions. And he put it in a way that if someone was sick, you'd go to the doctor and get medicine. If someone broke their arm, you'd go to the hospital and they'd put a cast on it. If someone had schizophrenia and had to go on medication for it, that would be acceptable because they have schizophrenia. But when it comes to alcohol and drug addiction, it's kind of looked at as something not to discuss with anybody. From being in recovery for such a long time, I have come to the realization that there is a lot of people out there who have gone through alcohol or drug issues. Someone in everyone's family do go through this. If it's such a common thing, why should it be looked down on so much? It is a mental disorder, and it comes from anxiety, depression, bad upbringings, problems, issues that have not been dealt with, and you're finding another way, reaching out to deal with these problems simply because you are just experiencing pain or hardship and you want that pain to go away. A lot of the time that is the reason. So I would like to take that stigma away. I have been sober and clean for nearly 2.5 years now. That should be something to be proud about, because if I have a disorder with alcohol and drugs, a lot of people don't get this long sober or clean. A lot of people don't get it. So it should be something that I should be proud about and something that I can say. I would like to be able to share that. If the guy who broke his arm or person who got medication from the doctor to help their illness and they were over their illness or their arm healed, they would be proud to say, oh, my arm is better now, it's fine, it's okay. I think it should be the same for alcoholism and addiction. And it was a friend of mine who said that to me, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I guess the last reason for me doing this video is I want to accept that I don't drink. Acceptance that I have this and this is the way my life is going to be. I guess not to be running away from it or hiding it, just to accept it, just to help me to accept it more. Very last thing of why I'm making this video is, I guess, to also encourage other people to not feel that you have to be afraid to be hiding things, not just addictions, with anything. So many times I've turned around and I've said I've actually had issues with alcohol, or I was depressed, or anxiety, or whatever, and straight away somebody comes out with, oh, I had this problem, or my family member had this problem, or whatever, because everybody has problems. Especially in Ireland, there was a lot of sweep everything under the rug and don't talk about it. Everyone is experiencing these things, so why should we not talk about it? But thankfully the world is changing and people are talking about it. I have done so much in the last 2.5 years that I've wanted to do my entire life, and I was able to go out and do them all sober. I had some of the happiest times in my life, I also had some very, very sad times and some very difficult times, but that's just the way life is. You need to experience lows to experience highs, and I just try my best to accept that and keep moving forward as best that I can. I hope this video made sense, and I would like to make more videos on different topics and experiences that I've been through. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would like to make more on different topics and different issues that I've been through, and maybe put out some things that I might have done that helped me deal with different issues and scenarios that I have gone through. If you'd like to leave a comment down at the bottom of the video, please feel free to. If someone has any questions or would like to ask me something, then feel free to private message me if you didn't feel comfortable doing it down in the comments. I would always like to help someone if I could. I will try to answer your question as best as I can. And if you would like to, hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask me, you can just private message me on Instagram or my Facebook page, and I will try to answer anything as best as I can. And if you would like to, you can hit the subscribe button down at the bottom of the video and ring the bell to get notified whenever I post a video. I love YouTube, I love creating videos, no matter what the content may be. And thanks to anyone who has subscribed or commented so far. This video is going to be quite difficult to upload, but this video is going to be quite difficult. This video is going to be quite difficult to upload.